Well, hello everybody, and welcome to some coffee talk this morning live. And it's me, Slim Overton here, and just coming to you to talk to you a few minutes about what I've been talking about for a while. For some coffee talk coming back in its original form soon. Talk to uh, message to the two hosts, Thomas the Colonel Chapman and Leo Drake Stitz. So we're in the planning stages of coming back uh, this fall, hopefully the end of this month or the beginning of November. Hopefully it'll be sometime this month so we can kind of catch up with the local political race. It's going to always be something to talk about as far as the national scene. So we're going to continue that, what we've been doing. Like I said, we're going to have our panels on. And we're going to invite you as an audience to participate with your comments and also invite you to come on as guests. And this time we're going to really go for those people that, maybe on the other side on the right, because we lean toward the left, if not all the way left. And we want to get some of those people that are on the right to come on and have a discussion with us and reached out before, but didn't get a real definite answer about coming on. Just saying it was a good idea, but hopefully there'll be some brave souls out there to come on and have a discussion, which sometimes probably will turn into a debate. But that's all good too, because I think we need to hear all sides of what's going on in the world today, and I will particularly be interested in hearing some of the reasoning of some of the people who are on the right why they support particularly Trump. If you're a Republican, that's fair. If you're a MAGA Republican, to me, that's questionable. And even if you're a Republican, because most of the Republicans are going along with the MAGA agenda that's out there. So that's my opinion. That's where I'm coming from, and probably my co-hosts as well. So we'll be coming back. I know a lot of people are waiting for the Colonel to come back with his very opinionated but well thought out commentary of what's going on today. Being a 36-year veteran of the U.S. Army, coming out as a full colonel, he has a lot to say, coming from the military standpoint as well as a citizen that's very observant of what's going on. And Leah comes in with her balanced opinion about what's going on. So we think it's a pretty good mix, the three of us, and then the panels that we add to our discussion from time to time is really good. So most of our concentration will be centered around the daily political scene and what's going on. Before, we might have had some human interest stories in between there, but we're going to save those for other platforms that we have. Excuse me, especially the Slim Nation one-on-ones experience. We can have those one-on-ones sharing information about people and their business and what they're doing today. But Portsmouth Coffee Talk, we're going to stay with the national news and political news. It might not be all political. Some of the national things that are going on as well as uh, local issues of interest that we might have, and covering not only Portsmouth but all of Hampton Roads and the U.S. of A. And now worldwide, a lot of things are happening in the world because we are all in it now. With certain things, different wars going on across the world, different genocide, uh, and we'd like to get the opinions of people, what people feel about what's going on worldwide as well, because anything that's going on in the world affects us, and anything that's going on in the United States affects the world. So it's going to be an interesting comeback for us, and appreciate everybody being patient and taking these build ups that I've been coming on talking about. But I wanted to mention I was watching the Senate hearings yesterday, and I've never seen anything like it, where the Attorney General Bondi was being interviewed or questioned by senators, the very senators that affirmed her. Well, many of them that were Democrats didn't vote for her, but the overall Senate affirmed her. But I would think she would owe her allegiance to any of the senators there as far as respect. And she was, wow, totally disrespectful in my from what I saw, and it didn't answer a single question except when a Republican asked her a question, and she politely answered yes or no or said something. But she always had a comeback with particular senators. Uh, when they questioned her, she questioned something in their probably personal life that she's privileged to as the Attorney General, and things that had nothing to do with the questions they were asking. That anything that could be brought up personally like that, the senators weren't there to be questioned. She was there to be questioned, and she was sworn in by the Senate, and she should be her allegiance should be to the people first. And it seems like she's Trump's lawyer, and she was Trump's lawyer at one time, and now she's Attorney General. And that, to me, that seemed like that would be a conflict. Your personal lawyer, once you become president, becomes the Attorney General for the United States of America. Your personal lawyer, and you put her in there, and you're still treating her as your personal lawyer, and that's not her role. But that's the role she's has accepting by not cooperating with the Democratic senators' questions, which were quite bad, trying to get to the bottom of issues why certain uh, certain allegations of certain people are buried or not investigated further. Why she's out there going after Trump's uh, people people that Trump didn't like. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. And anybody watching, even if you're on the right and you're watching this, how can you sit back and not feel some kind of way about the way that process is being handled? It just seems unnatural as far as the way things go protocol wise in Congress. But you see it all around. Any of his appointees that come before the Senate or Congress or representatives to be questioned act the same way. They yell back at the people that are questioning them, excuse me, who deserve at least respect. You don't have to like them, and you can talk later. But once you're in there and swear, you're sworn in to tell the truth. I would think telling the truth would mean answering the questions as well. So this is what we're dealing with, and this excuse me, persistent cough didn't happen until I came on air, but maybe it's telling me I shouldn't be here long, so I won't be. But I have to keep coming on from time to time to, like I said, have the build up to Portsmouth Coffee Talk coming back and coming back strong. And we had some people say they missed it, and but hopefully when we come back, you will continue to support us. The one problem I have with some of the people that I might see out in the street or that might say they missed us, they are regular watchers, but we need more support. We need to get those subscription numbers up at least to a respectable um, number. So when we go out looking for support financially uh, or to advertise for someone, which we really want to do, and we will do that at a very reasonable rate. But most of the time, they ask or they look at the numbers we have and think that we don't have a big enough audience for it to be worth their while. But evidently, we a lot of people see what we do, and it's not always about the numbers. It's about who we reach. So if we're going to really go after advertisers this go round, I always felt uncomfortable about really going after advertisers if our numbers were low because that would be a question I would have to answer honestly, and because they can see it. But I really have to push the fact that we do have a loyal following, and those people do spend money, and they do share information word of mouth. So the more we advertise, the more we'll build those numbers as well. So well, I'm just going to go. All they can do is say no, not now. So I'm just going to go and approach people and try to. Been talking to a fellow that could put together our advertisements professionally, and of course, he's going to charge. So we're going to have to make up that cost within whatever we charge for the advertisement. But I guarantee you, it'll be worth your while. It'll be reasonable, and we can negotiate the price. We just want to get to the point where, like we always been talking, to grow the channel and to grow the channel with more professional equipment. And when I say that, uh, it's good for us to be in the studio and have the panels, but we really have to get out there. And what we want to build here, we've the original co-hosts, we've all been around a while, and we want to be able to leave a legacy. When we are no longer able to do this, we don't want Coffee Talk to end. We want to be able to pass this on to uh, whoever would want to take the ring and go forward with it. But we have to leave them something, you know, to work with that will be something that they will can one make some money doing it and take pride in the quality of work that they can present because we have set them up in a way that they can go out there and be professional. So we have to start here, and we have to start with the advertising, and we have to start with your support. But we have an obligation as well to bring you content that you want to see, that you will want to participate in, and that is informative, that lets you know things. I'll switch to, I think I did a video, a live video on this on YouTube about a gentleman I ran into that was 92 years old. And he happened to ask me, you know, eh, where does he go? He heard that, at his age and him being a vet, that he could get a tax break, real estate tax break on his property. And in the city of Portsmouth, there is a tax abatement program, uh, which I told him to call the city and inquire about that and see what he qualifies and what he has to do in order to do it. Because at 92, he should have been uh, doing that years ago because I think the age starts way before that. So I was glad to be able to direct him there. But that's another thing that we want to be able to do to share information like that and bring people on that that will be able to share that information. Bring the city treasurer on. Bring the whoever uh, can share the information that needs to get out there, or we will be responsible for making sure we look it up and quote the source that we got the information from. So you'll know it's legit or you know where to go to follow up on whatever information. So feel free when we're on to email us or comment while we're on live. Anything you might want us to check into for you, and we'll be glad to do that. And of course, if you want to email us questions, it's Portsmouth Coffee Talk at yahoo.com. Portsmouth Coffee Talk at yahoo.com. And with any questions or any concerns, or if you want to be uh, uh, a guest here on Portsmouth Coffee Talk is um, to come on and talk about the state of the union, the state of our city, the state of our state, the state of our region, uh, politics, how you feel about certain things, how you feel about what's going on now, uh, issues that you might have had or have problems with all the directives that are being passed down to the states and the localities. So it's going to be pretty much what we've been doing, but a little bit more. We try to improve or add a little bit more each time after we take our breaks, and that's why we take the breaks during the summer. It's usually not this long, but it just happened to be that way, and we take those breaks so we can regroup and come back and kind of assess what we did the past year and what we need to improve on and what we need to continue to do, according to some of the numbers that we looked at and what gained the most attention, what shows. And some shows are going to be necessary, even if they don't pull in the top numbers in the beginning. But if we feel like it's a very important subject that needs to get out there, we're going to do it. We're going to put it out there. And sometimes people might not immediately see it, but later on they see it and it's still helpful. If you go back and look at some of our videos now, it's still some of them, a lot of them can still be relevant to some issues of today. Some things you might want to know or you need to know that's still relevant or just for entertainment purposes. Some of the subjects we covered. So just stay tuned and we will be back. We're going to do a reintroduction show with the original co-host real soon. Hopefully, in the next before the month is out, for sure. And then we'll go from there as far as dealing with the day to day things. We're going to have plenty of material to talk about because every day is something uh, that comes down nationally, and of course, we have the local races going on. And I guess you notice how the state races are going. Are you? Do you really want to know? Well, I'll put it this way: don't you really want to know what policies or what they're going to bring to us? It seems like it's a war of let's put down my opponent. Let's uncover some information about my opponent that they might have done at some point or said at some point, like, we all have to be perfect in what we say and do and how we move every day. I guess if you look at anybody and go back and pull up things, especially with social media and how public things are now, you're going to find something, a slip of the tongue of that's something someone said, and whether they meant to say it or didn't mean to say it, that might offend, and bring that up and use that against someone. But what about? But that person might be really good for the office they're running for. It's just those little hiccups that you want to bring up, and I think a lot of money and energy is spent on bringing up things and putting down your opponent, and we don't even know what you stand for. We don't even know what you plan on doing because all your efforts are talking about the other opponent, your opponent, and putting them down and say, and it's a lot of money spent on trans trans people and excuse me, who's in the schools and who's standing next to your kid in the bathroom. You know, I can understand that being a concern, but it's always been pedophiles out there, and they're the ones that you do not know. The transgenders you might be able to identify right away, and if you have a concern about that, you can govern yourself accordingly. But the pedophiles that have been out there all these years, you don't know who they are until they're caught. So that's always been an issue, and I'm not trying to put down the people that are concerned about uh, sexual identity and who and what do they identify as, but that seems to be the less problems. You I don't know. I just want to know, how are you going to help me or help my neighbor if they can no longer get the proper insurance, health insurance? What are you going to do about that? Now, where are we with that? How can we, fight back the federal government or what's coming down from the present administration that might really hurt us locally? What do we do? How do we fight that? What are you doing to fight that? As opposed to spending all your time and energy digging up information about me. And I know, some of this information we need to know. Some of it can be very damaging, but in most cases, it's not. And whatever comes up, the first thing they say, you ought to resign, but it's a lot of people that are sitting in office right now, in my opinion, need to resign because they are not qualified. They have no business holding the type of office that they hold. And for you to interfere in a state election and say that, like our president will say, certain people in the state, because he wants to make sure that every state is red or has a Republican majority in place. You know, take a look at who you have surrounding you. The crazy people you have surrounding you in positions that uh, are not respecting the office for one thing, and not respecting the people. And what? Start there. Leave us alone. You know, I mean, the craziest thing to military style helicopters going into a city and coming down like they're in Barat, Iran, or in those places, or in Vietnam, but they're in our cities. Something needs to be done about crime. Oh yeah, it does. But a military operation, we'll be talking about that. and I'm sure that'll be a big topic of discussion, especially with the colonel and how the military is going to deal with this. I mean, where are they? Where do they stand? They have to follow their commander in chief, which has always been crazy to me because a lot of times the commander in chief is elected, and oftentimes they haven't served. Many of them have served, but a few haven't served. They just elected to that office and become automatically their commander in chief. They are experts of the military. They hold the keys. They can send troops into their own cities, which they really can't, but they're doing it. So I'll save these conversations for when all of us come back, and you'll see most of the conversations being led by my two co-hosts because I have other podcasts that I do, but I will still be here on Portsmouth Coffee Talk. But my co-hosts will be the main people, like we did once before. We're just going to approach it a little differently because we will have guests, and the times when we don't have guests, you know, you'll hear mostly from the co-host uh, in commentary forms. But when we have guests, it has to be equal sharing of talking space. So we're going to work on that and make sure that happens when we have the panels. But just hang in there with us and come back with us, and we'll look for you. You can give us your comments now, what you will be looking for when we come back, and what you want to see, and anything that you saw in the past that we should do different. If I should shut up, you know, I have thick skin. You know, I will. I plan on doing that anyway, back and back, and not saying as much. That's why I'm saying a lot now before we come back with the co-hosts because they're going to be the main people as I do my other podcasts and just be a person sort of running the boards here because we have a lot of different ways that we can add uh, videos to the conversation. We add pictures. We can add documents to back up some of the things that we're saying, and that's the main reason. So that takes some effort. So that's going to be my position. My job is to make sure that we can uh, back up, show that we have done research on some of the things we said that's that's not our own opinions. And when it's our opinions or commentary, you will know that that's coming from us. But if we share information and that we feel that needs to be backed up by documentation, we'll be able to show it. We'll be able to put it on screen so you can see, or be able to quote the source where we got the information from, or have the actual people as guests here or experts as guests to uh, to share the right information. So we're approaching a half hour or 30 minutes. So I got a few more minutes before we approach 30 minutes. So I'll be signing off and again thanking you for all the years of the support, and hopefully we get the same support going forward. Um, we take pride in this Portsmouth Coffee Talk, and we've had our hiccups over the years. We've had mistakes that we made over the years, and we'll probably make some in the future, but we've always learned from those particular mistakes and tried to improve and do better. and always have something to feed you with as far as information and sometimes entertainment. So have a great day, and we'll be seeing you real soon. And that's not the Mickey Mouse ending. Why? Because we like you. Mouse. I had to go there. Only a certain age people will know that. Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse. Donald Duck. Mickey Mouse. Donald Duck. Let me go. I think I had too much coffee. Take care. We'll see you.